authentically wanted to find love.
Yes.
Okay.
Because my journey is this, and I said it on the show, I have been single for 17 years.
You've been single for 17 years? How does somebody be single for 17 years?
And when I saw him, I was like, whoa, that's the guy I like. I'm thinking, shoot, look at how God doing this thing. I'm thinking that, right? And so I see David, and I'm like, wow, okay. Then I think, AJ. And AJ, I was like, whoa, I was like, man, this is a tall, fine, good-looking brother. I feel like the things that I desire, I have to possess.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good.
And everything I've worked on in my life, it's like, that's what I want back. There was a lot of stuff in the Facebook group. People thought that I was just, there is nothing wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is we buy into this world system and the culture. Mm-hmm. And what people might think, oh, because they ain't been in a relationship this long, oh, because this, something must be wrong with her. She's a monster. Mm-hmm. No, the devil is a lie. No, God has just been protecting you. He's been building you. Mm-hmm. He's been healing you. He's been growing you for the right time and the right opportunity for when you are supposed to meet your spouse. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of women that have been single for a long time. Mm-hmm. Longer than me.
Mm-hmm. I'm so glad you said that, because that brings context to what you're saying. You've been doing the work. You've been faithful. You've been embracing the process. Mm-hmm. But some of y'all niggas, there is something wrong with you. Yeah. Like some of y'all
niggas,
need some therapy.
Now that's true.
Y'all be self-sabotaging these relationships.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all need some healing emotionally.
That's true.
Like, I'm just saying.
That's real.
Yeah.
Now let me tell you this.
Hi guys, so I just wanted to come and touch on a recent interview from Rachelle, who was on last season of Ready to Love. She just sat down with a gospel content creator here on YouTube. So I just wanted to talk about that since we didn't get an episode last week. So in the interview, she doesn't, well, spoiler alert, she's not going to tell us why she broke up with Jason, but she confirms that she is no longer with Jason. And to be honest, just even going back in some of my older videos, I really didn't think that they were that compatible. This is just my opinion. Just because you're a Christian and he's a Christian do not mean that everything else is going to fall in line. But she didn't really get into their relationship. He was asking her about why she was single for 17 years. And she answered, and I kind of agree with her. I think that too, men and women, when you get comfortable, just in your being single, because some people are comfortable, right? And then there's a level of peace too. You can come and go as you please and do it. You don't have to consult with someone else about taking trips and doing this and doing that. There is a level of comfort that you can have as a single person, especially when you don't have children, right? So I can see it. I can understand what she's saying. She didn't necessarily say it that way. I'm saying that. I'm just saying she was pretty much saying that she was dating, but she wasn't in a committed relationship for 17 years. And then, if you're waiting for the right person, if you've waited that long, you might as well wait longer, right? Why rush into something? So I kind of agree with her on that. Now, the other thing that she was talking about in this interview that I found interesting was that she was talking about David, and she kind of talked about David more so than she talked about Jason, and maybe she was talking about David because she didn't want to talk about Jason, but she kind of went over some of their run-ins on the show, because the guy was asking her if she felt did she feel safe when she met him at the elimination dinner? And she said, that she didn't feel unsafe about the way he was acting, because, he wouldn't allow her to talk, because it was kind of obvious that David had figured out that he was going to get eliminated, right? and maybe someone tipped him off about that. I don't know, but um, he wouldn't allow her to talk. If you guys remember that episode, and so Joshua, I think that's his name. Joshua was asking her about that, and she said she wasn't scared because there were so many other people there on set. Um, and she said that there was stuff that we didn't see. Um, she's kind of, that she would stand up for herself, and she was trying to stand up for herself, but we really didn't see the entire conversation. She also said that she was kind of through with him um, when she introduced him to her ex, and just the way he was acting over her, um, confessing to him about kissing Jason, right? And obviously, she knew from seeing or probably hearing about him with other people that maybe someone else might knock her out of the number one spot. So she went on and tried to pursue Jason. She kind of admits to that during the interview as well. And so she said that, David kind of turned her off during that meeting. And so she was already kind of turned off from him. That's why she moved on to Jason. But she never really said what happened between her and Jason at the end of the day. Now, let me know what you guys thought about the interview if you were watching it as well. Like I said, I felt like she talked about David a little bit more than I would have, thought she would. And I don't really care. Like I said this before, I don't really care what people think of David. I felt like he was definitely good TV. He was good TV. Ron was good TV. And of course, Vernisha and Joe, they kind of delivered at the end because we didn't see that coming. Because they just seemed like the loving couple that hooked up, and then all of a sudden we start hearing all this other stuff, right? Now, I don't know if Chris and Amber are still together. Just based on their Instagram pages, I don't see them, posting pictures of each other as a couple. So I think that we get that this is a TV show, and that, people are going to do what they have to do to make the show, right? And she kind of admits to that in this interview as well. That she felt like the women were there more so on her season. They were there to really find a guy or whatever, and then she didn't feel like the men were really there for that reason. And I think so. I think also you can kind of fill out people, right? Because at the meet and greet, they kind of have to go around to eat and kind of know, like, my type is really not here, right? I feel like you can make that, you can come to that conclusion, I feel. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I feel like you could fill a room out. You could know somebody, the type of guy that I'm into is not in this room. And I feel like vice versa as well. I feel like the men can say, these women are not the type of girls that I would normally go after. So I think it is hard with shows like this. And that's why I always bring it back to the casting. I think that it's the way they cast the show. To me, and I'm not trying to badmouth the production at all. I'm just saying I do think sometimes it is the casting, and maybe they are casting this way because they are trying to create controversy for the show. I think people looked at Vernisha and Joel and thought they're both very attractive people. They looked good together, and they thought that about each other as well. But when it really got down to the nitty gritty, they may not have been as compatible. And by the time they figured that out, it was probably towards the end, right? Because we didn't hear him making complaints about her from early on, being controlling or possessive or whatever. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys thought about the interview if you were able to catch it. If not, I'll put his information in the description box if you want to go over and watch the entire interview. It's about an hour and a half. But let me know what you think about what some of the stuff she had to say if you were able to catch it, if you did catch the interview. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.